Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Episode 210 of Forever Exiled. I'm gonna put that like behind my desk. Maybe you won't hear it then. I don't know how to quiet my phone for notifications. It doesn't follow the do not disturb rule for my phone.
Your watch?
Yeah, my watch. It's a smart watch, but it's dumb because it won't shut up. Yeah, 210. Forever Exiled.
You have this saying when you reference me. You say user error.
It probably is. I hooked it up to my phone and haven't really played much with it. So I'm sure there is a setting in there. I bought it when I was in Vegas. I've wanted one for a while, but I haven't spent time actually going through the settings. But it's supposed to listen to my, match my do not disturb on my phone. Although maybe because I put my phone on silent isn't the same as do not disturb. I always thought that throwing
definitely user
well,
error.
so my phone has a little notch at the top.
Yeah. And
the top is supposed to be do not disturb, but maybe it's only silencing it. I'll try actually hitting do not disturb and see if that works. Anyway, yeah. So big shout out though. Thank you to our patrons, everybody who's resubbed up. We love your faces. We got some cards coming out today.
Are they?
Yep, they're all done. They're going in the mail today. Come on, Ty. I'm on top of this stuff now. I am on top.
I appreciate it.
But we love your faces, patrons. Patreon gets you access to After Dark. It's our podcast after the podcast where we just continue to talk about stuff and things as such and others.
Agreed.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for supporting us. We love your faces. And oh yeah, we have our private league coming up next week on Friday.
Next Friday.
Yep. A week today from when we record. I don't know that we could have possibly. I know that we looked through stuff and planned it out. Probably one of the worst weeks for us doing a private league. But
why? What changed?
I don't know that I fully recognized what was happening this coming week for me. And so
I'm going to title this episode user error.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I'm going to write that down.
It's pretty bad
right
for
now.
me. I'm sorry. I am planning to make sure that I'm here for the start of the private league on Friday, which I'm excited for.
User error.
But we also planned it around because 211 will be coming up. So BK's with us next week too. So just it wasn't the greatest pre-planning on my end. It was a bit of user error, but it's going to be fun. If you're not in it, you can join for free. We don't charge anything besides high fives.
Just make sure you play on your birthday.
Yep, I will be playing on my birthday as well. My birthday sucks this year, but I don't actually care because I'm not a birthday person. My son's birthday's on the same time. Oh, speaking of, it was my oldest son's birthday last week, so happy birthday to him, old man. But the private league's gonna be fun. So if you want to play it, you got to just hop into our Discord. It's under announcements. I think that's where the link is. That's the only place we put it, just because it's a community thing.
And there's an event. Thing
I
at the
saw
top
you
of our
did that.
Discord too.
Yeah,
So there's a link there as well.
Did I put interested? Hold on. Interested. Done.
You're the second person. Awesome.
No, I was the seventh. Yeah, it's gonna be fun though. So private league, it's a hardcore event. No solo self-found this time.
Correct.
Thank you, friends, at Grinding Gear Games. How was your week, buddy?
I had a good week, pal. I just did stuff,
Cool.
It was a normal week. Well, no, it hit fall quick. All of a sudden, I wake up and it's 3 degrees outside.
Yeah, right? It's been a weird week, actually.
It really dropped quick. I was excited for the normal fall weather, and we've had some nice rain, so I reseeded the lawn again. You remember how last week I was complaining about the neighbors who seeded their lawn and did absolutely nothing, didn't care for it, and it just out of the ground like it's on steroids. I babied my seed and didn't get anywhere near the same fantastic results. So anyway, it was a couple weeks since, and so I was using up. I'm kind of overseeding apathetically because my seed's old now. If you know what I mean.
Definitely old.
No, my seed's old. You don't want to use old seed, but I had a bag of grass seed from before we flooded.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So it's not that old.
We flooded. Well, that was 2021.
2 years.
It's 2 years. That's pretty old.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Right. And I mean, that would have been beforehand. So that was the spring of 2021. And now we're getting to the spring of 2024 coming up. So that is going to be 3 years. But then I was given a whole bunch of grass seed that matched the seed that the company that fixed my perimeter drain gave me. And so, but now that's getting 2 years old as well. So I'm overseeding a little bit more apathetically because I don't expect the same production from phone. I don't expect the same production from older seed. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm overseeding apathetically. I did that again. But we'll see. So going through that. But yeah, all of a sudden the weather went to like 3 degrees outside overnight. And I'm like, crap, that like sucks for growing seed, right? You want it to stay in the 10 to 20 range, sort of kind of.
I found the volume notification sound.
Oh, good. Excellent. Blessings on us all. So no, I had a good week. Kids are excited for Halloween still. And it's just been a nice family week. Oh, we finished the 3 Hobbit movies as a family.
Oh, fun. Did they like them?
Oh, it's hilarious. My son gets like the strategy and he understands what's happening on the global scale in some of these more complicated movies, you know, like when he's watching Harry Potter or whatever, like he's getting the global theme and like, oh, well, this happened way over here, but how would that impact this that we haven't heard about for 3 movies? He gets that. Whereas my daughter, she's very much more of the slapstick kind of person. So when, you know, there's the big battle of the 5 armies at the end, and my daughter's like, there's a lot more decapitations in the 3rd one than there are in the 1st one, and I'm like, yeah. And then right as she says that, one of the dwarf kings like chops the head off, and the head flies towards the camera, and she's the kind of watcher. Yeah, exactly, right. But she's also the kind of watcher where she's like, oh, you know, like as the head's flying towards her, and then you look at her and she has this big smile on her face because that's not something she would normally see. So she yeah, it's fun, you know, just as a parent. Every parent has different kids, and so it's fun seeing your 2 very different kids react in very different ways to things that they're new to. We've never shown them anything that, I guess, violent before, but like it still looks real, you know what I mean? So they don't do blood in that one. So
is there no blood? I don't even remember. That's good.
No, well, if it was, then it'd be harder to watch Wiki.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, no, we did well. Had a great week. How about you?
It was a fine week, really busy. It's funny you talk about the lawn stuff. I forgot to tell you about this last week, but I got a message from BK with a screenshot from her Twitter, and there was a Scott's Lawn advertisement. Like, you know how when you're scrolling through Twitter or whatever, sometimes you'll see sponsored posts, and she said she blames us for this. She's like, why else would I be getting lawn stuff? I'm like, yep, you're welcome. That's actually pretty good stuff.
Yeah, no kidding.
My week was fine. It was really busy, but yeah, it's going to be even worse this coming week, but that's fine. I'm enjoying this busy. We had Thanksgiving, so that was good. We had a bunch of family over on the weekend. And what else did we do?
Oh yeah, we did that as well.
Yeah, so that was
I forgot
fun.
It was Thanksgiving. That was at the beginning of the week.
Yep, we always invite all of our family to our place because it's just easier than us driving around. So I think we had 21 people over this year. So that was fun.
For one meal?
Yep, one meal. Get it all done.
How do you all eat?
Usually fork and knife.
Yeah.
And
you're all just like standing?
No, we have space for everybody to sit, and then we add one more table in our living room. Like at the front there connected to the dining room, we add a table there with some chairs. So all the kids go to the big like table that's in the kitchen. Adults go in the dining room and living room, and it works.
But nobody's choked and died yet?
No, not yet.
Any nieces or nephews you kind of wish would accidentally?
No, I love everyone. No, actually, our family actually gets along great. It works out well that we can invite both sides of our family and everybody has a good time. And yeah, it was fun. You actually came up. We were talking about you, which was funny. We were trying to figure out, because my grandpa came. So
yes,
yeah, we were talking about that, and I got into an argument with my parents because they were trying to tell me that you and I lived in Victoria at the same time. I'm like, nope, there's no way. You guys
That's funny how memory works, eh?
Yeah. So I was very happy to prove them wrong and shove it in.
You know, it's
faces.
funny because the only way that I would know that would be there was one story that my parents told me, Victoria, BC. And when my parents lived there, that was when Mount St. Helens blew in Washington, and their whole house, small house, and vehicle were completely covered in ash. And that still resonates with me with just the power. Like that mountain's hours and hours away, and that mountain covered my anyway. So like that just like really stuck with me with the power of that kind of stuff. And they told me that, you know, for something school related back in the day, you know, when I'm doing baking soda and vinegar awesome science projects with my volcano, right?
Yeah.
But then, of course, you know, as I mentioned in the text messages, how we moved around Canada quite a lot. But it's funny that that will come up. Your dad or your grandpa and my dad were very close for a long time.
Yeah. And we were talking about, I don't even remember how it came up, but my mom was convinced that your parents were, because they knew them in Victoria, but then they were convinced that they had you while they were there. And I was like, there's no way, like that would have absolutely come up at some point in how we've been friends for like 30 something years. At some point, surely we would have talked about that.
Yeah. And fist bumped for being Victoria buddies.
Yeah. So anyway, it was kind of funny.
How was your victory to them? I sent you the messages.
Just slaughtered them. Well, it was funny too, because at one point I think I asked you, like, I just asked you if you ever lived in Victoria or something when your parents were there. And I was laughing because I was drinking, because it's a family event. So that's how we get through those. But I was laughing to my mom because it shows Tyler's typing. I was like, it's just give me a yes or no so I can just tell my mom right now that she's wrong.
I know it probably took me a while. Tyler is typing, Tyler. But then I probably delayed it a bit because I was watching a show with Aaron or something like that. So it probably took a while.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, it was good. We saw all our family. And then this week has been just like insanely busy. I've been barely home. Next week's going to be an absolute zoo. And otherwise, life's good. We watched a movie called Reptile on Netflix. Don't watch it. It was terrible. It's a new one. Just came out on Netflix. I love some of the actors in it. Like, is it Benicio del Toro, the Del Toro guy?
Benicio del Toro, yeah.
Love him. There were a couple other actors that I liked in it, but oof, it was dumb. We got to the end and both of us were like, well, that wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it's too bad. Hey, I'm impressed that there was actually a show that wasn't worth it to you.
It wasn't even like one where you could, because most of the time I'm just like, oh, that was entertaining. That's fine. I don't really think much about it. I don't like if I get to the end of the movie though, and I'm like, what? But there's so many arcs that they didn't, like, there's some movies where it can end with questions, but it makes sense.
And that's a good thing.
Right. Because they've at least like, it leaves some stuff to your imagination, but this was like, they left some of the arcs and parts of the story just like they forgot. I don't know. Or you're supposed to assume. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it wasn't the greatest movie, but yeah, otherwise pretty good movie. We've got lots going on. So let's talk about this week in PoE.
Sure thing. Did you see that new segment I had, in case we forgot to bring up our lawn talk with Titan?
Oh, I didn't even notice the Titan.
Yeah, Titan.
That's awesome.
That's Justin's in my portmanteau, smushing our two names together.
Grade 5 or 6. Early on. It was probably like back in the days of, we'd play games together and we'd have to create something. Yeah.
It was back when we would rent consoles for sleepovers. Like, yeah, it was like renting a Sega or renting an N64, and there would be a game where it would only be single player, but we really wanted to play it. So we'd take turns, like hour on, hour off or something like that. And
yep. And our character name, we just had to come up with something that worked together. And Justler wasn't the...
No, it wasn't the best option. Titan sounds rad, but it's
awesome.
Tytin. So it's not like I'm first and best, because it's Wait, no,
you are first and best, and that's fine. But it's
No, it's not
like
best,
Titan, like Titan, where it's like big. No, we're just
Tytin.
Yeah, so cool, so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so, what do we got?
Kit and Kat Noodle came out with her lore video. I haven't seen it yet, but I will. I'm excited
to watch
for it.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go back and start reminding myself. I'm going to go through her videos again slowly and just try and top up. But I think, like, if I start going through them slowly, just, you know, when I'm doing use them as a podcast, I guess I could think of them as a podcast. And then while I'm going through, it's tough though, because you can't really use it as a podcast because she has a lot of cool visuals. I love it when she uses the map.
Okay.
Like, maps to me are a big helping point when it comes to determine, I guess just memory.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like my wife and I, we watched The Wheel of Time this week, the second season. And there's so many places and locations in that story. And like any good fantasy story, in the Path of Exile story, it's the same way. When you reference locations without a map, it very easily becomes something of apathy or something that's not important.
Doesn't help. Yeah.
Like, I don't care what that name is. I don't care if this person's there and they're going to meet there. If I don't see it on a map, there's no
it's not less
important relation. Right.
Sure.
There's substantially less. And so she uses maps, and I love how she uses specific unique items and then highlights those certain quotes that are there. And so anyway, so it is tough for me to do while I'm doing something else because I do like the visuals. But my point is I want to start back at the beginning, league by league, and go through and hear what she has to say about everything. And hopefully I'll be tip top shape by the time
PoE 2 comes
Path
out.
of Exile 2. Yeah. Like, I'd like to be all caught up by summertime. And what are we now? We're mid-October. So 7-8 months, maybe. That'd be nice. So anyway, she came out with that. Congrats, Kit
And
Kat
shout
Noodle.
out to,
I love...
Sorry, I was just going to say thank you, GGG, for actually shouting her out and promoting it, because it's good for them.
Yes, and her Twitter, her YouTube, all of that was there. So
nice.
Good for that. Suzu.
So
Build
cool.
of the week this week.
Yeah, congrats.
Very cool. And now I know that I haven't seen the last couple builds.
This is the only one I've watched ever.
But Evan, oh my goodness,
the
Evan,
writing was so
crushed
good.
this one. It was so many good quotes, right? For like little snippets, little movies, little shows,
stuff. Yeah,
a lot of old,
cool.
like, oh man, but so good. And Suzu, the build is fantastic.
Such a cool
and
build.
Hilarious, but it was such a great video. So congratulations, Suzu. It was another one of those things I forget what it was that we were congratulating Suzu for before, like half a year ago.
Oh, their
was it
card, the wedding gift,
the card, and then the different time zone that Suzu was in. You know, everyone's like, I see a whole bunch of congratulations. We throw ours out, and then half a day later, I just woke up. I can't believe it's so great.
I saw the congratulations,
so
and I was like, what are they talking about? So then I had to look, because it hadn't even come out yet in our PoE news, which is typically where I see stuff that's coming out for PoE. And so then I did go and look at, but I did watch it. The video was so well done. Like, Evan did such a great job with it, and the build is hilarious. Like, it's crazy good.
It's perfect.
It also apparently they triggered a friggin' sale. Like, Suzu's build actually triggered GGG to do a sale on
Herald skills. Wasn't it crazy? They have like 24 Herald skills. So after the video, they have, this is what exploding all these worms looks like with every single individual Herald skill.
Yep.
And Suzu's got the power, because then they actually did a sale on Herald skills. So I love that, and congratulations to Suzu. But I love that GGG's using a community member to initiate something that is the company's dependent on, like their
should
normal
give them like
sales,
5%
but I love
of the sales in points.
Wouldn't that be great? Oh my goodness. But no, like I like that accommodation. I thought that's really smart.
Really cool.
Yep, very good. And so congratulations, Suzu. And
you know what they should also do? Like, when they do their hideout showcases and stuff, like for the top 3, put those hideouts on sale for like 2 days.
Yeah,
because then someone could buy them, and all of these things are available for download. It might increase their sales on that end too. But yeah, it was very cool. Congratulations.
Yes. On Reddit, I really want to shout this specific article out. Do you call them articles? What do you call a post on Reddit?
Post.
Okay, a post. Yeah.
Thread.
I have determined the location of the Lush Hideout by identifying the bird sounds.
What?
So the Lush Hideout that has like the waterfall and the river.
You used it forever.
I love it. I love it. This is proof that I have blurred the lines between game and reality. I used the Cornell Merlin bird song identifier with the background noise of the Lush Hideout. The Lush Hideout is somewhere in the southeast of North America. And so they use this bird song identifier with the Lush background noise, like the Lush Hideout noise. And there's an American robin, a Vesper sparrow, and an eastern meadowlark.
Of course, there's a bird song identifier app thing.
Oh, Justin, those are so cool. I used to have one of my grandpa used to have, my mom's brother-in-law, my uncle used to need one of those books when he'd go out, and then eventually he just got to the point where he could identify any bird in the regions that he lived in. Yeah, I mean, I come from a farming family, right? They all had massive acreages and farms for a lot of stuff. People, yeah. So yeah, that's something that I've been familiar with, and my wife enjoys doing that too. We have so many nice varieties in the backyard with the kind of backyard we have. But I just love this. This was arcade machine with a 3 at the end. I absolutely love that. Apparently an American robin, a Vesper sparrow, and an eastern meadowlark are in the Lush Hideout, and those combination of birds are typically mostly found in the southeast of North America.
Sweet. Now we know.
Now we know.
That's funny.
I love that. I thought that was, oh man. And it got like a 1.2 thousand upvotes.
That's awesome.
People don't say 1.2 thousand. They say 1,200. My mistake. Silly me.
Or 1.2K.
Ooh, good one. 12. Yeah. So there's also a big high. Normally we don't really care about, like shout out a sale or anything like that GGG is having on, but they're having a big Hideout and Pets weekend sale, which is fantastic because I love pets, right? So I'm definitely going to pick up my Weta. Also, the falling leaves are on sale, right? Because they're a Hideout decoration. Yeah.
Hey, go ahead. I got that little timer for the map device.
You opened up a bunch of boxes?
No, I bought one. I think I bought one box.
You got the one I wanted on your first one?
I only opened one.
You're going to turn me into a gambler. Watch. In like 2 years, my wife's going to leave me with the kids, and I'm going to be like hanging out by the corner of the elementary school. And as you drive by, I'm like, Justin, a toonie for Tim Hortons.
You can buy them eventually, though, right? The mystery boxes eventually comes out. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was really pumped when I got it.
Awesome. That is really cool. See, it's funny because I'm going to get into it, but I got back into Delve this week, and I'm regretting not buying the bear crawler support
to go with you.
That was right. I bought the parrot, but that came out at the same time as the bear, and I had to pick between one. Obviously, I'm a big parrot fan, and so just one of those things. But so anyway, there was a Hideout and Pets thing, so I'm going to go through and make sure that I have these are the sales that I wait for, because all pets that are 20 points and under, which is $2 and under, I buy.
Even if you have one?
So nope, only if I don't have it. There are a couple that I have.
How do you track? Does it tell
because
you?
They're favorite. Yeah, when you go to the store, it'll say already purchased.
Okay, right. That's right.
It never used to do that, and so that is something that I'm glad they did. It's a thoughtful experience. But this sale also highlighted for me how unfriendly the user experience is on the website. Now, we were making fun of GGG last week for their pointless events section that they have. They don't update it, which is baffling to me that you have that kind of stuff. You have a location on your website that's called seasons. Like, talk about, like, a website's very important for how a company works. And so for that not to be updated for so long, but then you go into the store and there's just not the ability to highlight or filter is the proper word, to filter through proper things. So like if I go to the weapon section and I only want weapon MTX that's available for swords because that's how I primarily play, or only available for scepters, like I don't want to have to scroll through a whole bunch of stuff that's not available for my weapon type. You know what I mean? So like it would be nice for the system to be able to, for the sake of the user, have a very easy way of going through this. So the reason that I bring this up is, you type in Hideout in the website and you're getting everything with the keyword Hideout. You're not just getting highword bases.
I'm always in the game.
Right. So here's a thing for me. I did that, and I remember being quite frustrated with that, or disappointed. And my hope is I just want GGG to, as soon as Path of Exile 2 is released, like take advantage of every opportunity. It would suck for them to learn all these lessons on having fluid job descriptions after the biggest release of their, with the exception of their original game, the biggest release of the career of the company. So if you go to the website and you type in and you go to shop and then microtransactions,
I've never gone here before, ever.
Really?
Nope. I always do it in game. Okay.
So then go down, make sure you're clicking on Hideout, not Guild Hideout, though I don't think it matters. And then just type out, so you'll see there's nowhere to filter anything.
No, just search.
Right. So you're in shop, then Hideout, go to the search bar and you select Hideout. And for the most part, it does an okay job at bringing up, it's weird. It brings up hideouts and hideout bases, but there's a bunch of decorations that show up there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They should have a filterable thing.
Because there's that inconsistency, you don't know if you're getting all the hideout bases, because it is showing some decorations, but you know there's 1,000 decorations. So why are some of these showing up and some of them not?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But now if you go like,
it's literally just based off if it's in the word, like in the title.
Right. So then if you go to like, there's no way to filter through armor. If you click on armor and you're only looking for gloves, you're only looking for body armor. There's like,
that's weird. There's no filter.
Right. Like in the game, for example, like if you type in gloves instead of greaves, greaves or boots or gloves, I forget. Anyway, like you have to get the actual word properly. So it would be nice if there was actually a drop down menu to filter more, or if they had more tags for all the RemTX so that it was like, oh yes, it's for these base types or for this type of variation, these types of skills. So
agreed.
It would be nice. And I really hope they really focus on a lot of these details before Path of Exile 2 comes out, so that they're not like hoping it works for the first time when Path of Exile 2 comes out. Like have this ready for springtime, then you have like a whole league, or as GGG's website likes to call it, season, to prepare and work out all those glitches for when. I mean, I would get it ready for the live beta that they're doing, or the closed beta that they're doing, because there's still going to be tons of MTF. Like there's that extra hype is just nuts. That's a perfect time to test out your new website, or at least the changes you're making. So anyway, It didn't mean to be a Debbie Downer with that, but they had a big sale, and because of how massive that sale list is, it reminded me of how poor the filtration system is. But then also all those other things, right? Like you have a item filter section, but for some reason you don't provide people with an item filter to edit. It's a blank slate. You have the seasons and the event section. Like it's just, time to tie things up. If you have, I'm sure almost no Path of Exile players have gone here, but if you go to the website and you highlight game and you click on items, there's a couple things there. Now click on view all mods. It is literally just
every single mod ever.
Every mod with no organization. There's nothing that tells you what item they go on. There's no way to filter them. It's just, here's 10,000 mods.
Sweet.
And their tags. It doesn't tell.
It's a little weird.
It's really apathetic is what it is. It's probably done for a reason, for the sake of, well, people can get this information from that and put it on their website, and then they can organize it how they want. But still, it's the website needs a lot of more thought when considering the user, and that's what this sale reminded me of. Yeah, so I'm a Debbie Downer when it comes to that stuff. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
What else?
They should fix it.
Yes, they should. Agreed. Thanks for agreeing with me. What else? They had a couple patches, small ones, hot fixes. They came out with another ExileCon video, which is great. Cool. This one's the Q&A that they had at near the end of their announcements, because that was the one with Jonathan and Rory and Vrishi.
Okay.
And
I don't really remember that one.
I forget who the fourth one is. It was good. It was very informative. That's where we got a lot more information than we would typically get in a lot of their predetermined presentations, because they just say things like willy-nilly. Like that was the one where we found out a little bit more about ascending, right? There's no more trials, or sorry, what was it? There's no labs, I think it was, that they were saying. And it was just from that, like that was a side comment that Jonathan or somebody said. So
right.
And then that was the same interview where Rishi's like, mappings, like they're kind of still like items for the most part. And Jonathan interrupts like, no, they're still very much items. It's still very much, the same in that regard. So anyway, yeah, I like that. Good top up. Add that to the unofficial podcast list. That one's easier to listen to as a podcast because you don't need to see anything.
Right.
These videos that they do. We've already seen the gameplay 100 times. You don't need to see it again. So it's going to be a little bit more easier to see. What else did we have? Oh, right. There was an expansion timeline. So remember how we were talking last week? It was like an answer to your comments.
And we were pretty much right.
You were, yeah, definitely. So what do we have? The expansion timeline. The next Path of Exile expansion will launch early December, as Justin predicted and suggested or recommended. recongested.
Yeah.
Initially, they considered a late November release. Yeah, right. But with the 323 scope being quite ambitious, what? We need to take a few extra weeks to finish what we have planned.
I don't think they should say that. I don't think they should say stuff like that. Just tell us, like, we're going to do it early December. I don't need to know that you considered late November, because what difference does that make? First off, maybe for half a second you considered it.
Yeah,
maybe.
There's no way the company was actually thinking.
No, there's no way. I agree with you. There's no chance. Saying that anytime they say stuff like this where it's quite ambitious, I think you just lead people on to believe something, and they do it so often, and it's like,
Goblin
just don't
mode.
Yeah, just don't say that. Just be like, we're excited for 323 and it's going to be coming out in early December. I also think at some point somebody there should they need to have a meeting and just go, this is working. We're going with a 4-month schedule. Like they talk in here as if they were still trying to maybe do like a 3-ish month, league, but it's pretty clear that that's not the case. So unless all of a sudden something in 2024 changes where this one comes out, 323 comes out in December, and then they start to roll into the 3-month, we're already a year into 4-month leagues. Just roll with 4-month leagues and stop making people feel like they should expect something in 3 months and then get upset when they don't get something in 3 months. Like, I wish they would just pick one and just go with it. But yeah, I think it's silly to be like, we considered late November. When you tell somebody you considered something but didn't do it, that's useless information.
Yeah, that's like, Justin, I was going to give you this, but I chose to give it to Ian instead.
Yeah, am I supposed to be like, oh, thank you? Oh, you thought about it? Like, what? That's not beneficial information. And then the whole being quite ambitious, I just don't like that. I feel like you're putting a tease out there that now you have to answer for. And if you didn't say anything, you never have to answer for it. People just go, cool, sweet, let's play 323.
I don't care about them saying the different days that they said, but the ambitious part is something that now they have to live up to. Yeah. And we've had a few recent experience in Path of Exile Land has had any kind of comments like that come up with disappointment. Yes. Not saying the league has been disappointing, but
you just expect something.
The company's expectation of what ambitious is and the users have been quite different. Yeah. And so, and of course, I'm referencing ExileCon and stuff that we have no need to rehash. But on that point, unfortunately, they also mentioned we're planning to run a series of 3 in-game events because, because they're now doing the 4-month, right? It's going to be another 4 months until not starting now, but this is going to be a 4-month league. Did you spill?
Yes.
I'll wait. Go ahead.
Shake the shaker cup without putting the lid down like an idiot. Anyway,
that's awesome.
Go on.
No, it's just so because of, again, this is another extended league, right? Another 4-month league. They are being very thoughtful to fans and are providing 3 in-game events.
Hopefully new.
That will each run for about a week. Yeah, I don't know. But again, that makes me question how, why wouldn't you do that on the way to ExileCon? Like, that was a 6-month wait, right?
We know.
5-month wait. So it's just crazy to me. Like, that's how overworked or unprepared for the resources they needed for their normal game that it was leading up to ExileCon. So anyway, looking forward to the events. As I mentioned, I'll get into it, but I've been getting back into Delve. So if they have anything Delve related, that would be a lot of fun.
Did you ever do
I've done
all Delve, like the all Delve event?
Oh, yeah, I like it. I mean, I always started as a witch because that was it. But it's kind of cool to get those. Oh, don't even get me started on my stupidity. Or I guess it was our stupidity on that one.
I did it too, yeah.
But I like getting the 3 white sockets and the wand and the shield and having the integrated hatred, level 22 hatred or whatever it is. So yeah, it's fun. But anyway, looking forward to those. And they said that the next showcase for Path of Exile 2 will be revealed in the 323 live stream announcement.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that it's not... I want to learn something new. You know what I mean? I don't want, I don't care about skills specifically. So I don't want to just see the next new cool skill or a new kind of combination. I want to see something that's new to the Path of Exile experience. So sure, okay, a brand new skill. Like let's say we see, how can I word this? Let's say we see the druid being able to change into a wolf. That means nothing to me because we already know shapeshifting's in the game. You know what I mean? Like one of the biggest mind-blowing things that I've learned recently, of course, with everyone else, was how weapon swapping is going to work. That's a cool new mechanic. You know what I mean? And then later on, we learned that weapon swapping also incorporates shapeshifting. You know what I mean? So you can switch your tree and your items based on if you're shapeshifting or not. Like I want to learn something that's new to the Path of Exile experience. I hope the reveal isn't, and this is what the new Storm Lightning looks like.
I hope that it is at whatever they show is at its base boring and just part of some information for the game. And I'll tell you why. I would like them to like maybe show us a class, maybe show us a couple ascendancies or some ideas. I don't want anything that overly excites me until March and May.
Oh, good call. Good call.
I don't want something that excites me now. So that comes out in December. So let's say 2 months from now, some announcement that comes out in 2 months. And then I still have another 6 months before the beta might start, right? Because June is when they're expecting the beta to start. So like I'm kind of done with like, I know PoE 2 is going to be good. I'm excited to play it, but I don't want teases that get me really hyped to play it because I still need to go through Path of Exile 1 for the foreseeable future. I mean, we're still talking only beta in June, right? So yeah, I want to see exciting stuff in like April and May that gets me hyped up to like get involved in the beta that when it comes out. Something right now that would really excite me would just be a little bit like, how do you go from like this cool, awesome new thing for PoE 2 and it's like, oh, and in the meantime, here's our 323. Like you're going to diminish the excitement for 323 if you make the PoE 2 thing so exciting and new. But I am excited still to see something for it, but I don't want to be overly stimulated.
It's like your wife buying lingerie today specifically for Valentine's Day.
Not cool.
And saying you're not going to see that. This is what I have for Valentine's Day, but you're not going to see it till then or after. It's like, you know what, lady? Just screw you.
Yeah,
no
so
pun intended.
I am excited for something,
I can't decide.
But I want 323 to be the excitement.
Yep.
Because that's what we've got for now.
Though I think one thing that would be awesome is if they revealed all the ascendancies without saying which class they were associated to. So
let us play a game.
Yeah, I want to guess which one's which. We did pretty good with the classes.
We did.
Right?
Yep. Only one mistake.
That's right.
But yeah, I don't know. It'll be fun. Regardless, I think 323 coming out in December makes the most sense. I have no problem with it. I'm not the type that needs to play it every 3 months, something new every 3 months. I
love the 4 month schedule.
Yeah, I think I would like it better if I just knew that was the intention. Like it's just kind of weird. I don't know why that bothers me, but like it's always like they're apologizing and they wouldn't have to do that if they just said we're going to go on a 4 month schedule. But whatever, 323, I don't even care what it is. I'm going to be excited to play it. I always am. And
it's ambitious.
This post could have just said we're going to be launching early December. We're going to have some PoE 2 news. We're going to have some events. I don't think they needed to go into just those 2 lines. It's not necessary.
Now, at some point, Path of Exile 1 is going to have its end game changed. I would assume it's before Path of Exile 2 because the stories are going to coincide, right? Like not necessarily need to be the same, but their lore guy at ExileCon was saying it'll like the lore is going to be intertwined.
I think that might actually be the change. If they're talking about
well, normally their end game changes are Christmas time.
Well, plus the core supporter packs are changing.
Yeah,
that's the main ones. So
that's right. It's core support packs. Those are the annual ones.
So this could be a new end league, not end league, end game league. I would think that actually kind of makes sense for their stuff. So that actually even makes it more exciting. Again, that's why I want 323 to be the exciting part of their announcement.
Yes.
PoE 2.
And it's interesting because I think at some point you got to get rid of Maven and how that works. Like come up with something.
There's no way.
Well, they got rid of the Elder and Shaper, and that was a big deal.
Because
like they're not gone forever, but you know, they're a side quest. You know, well, I guess technically they're the main quest. When you actually go into your quest log, beating the Elder in the Shaper's Realm is part of your main quest if you actually care about questing. But at the end of the day, it's not even part of the app. It's not even part of your map device.
Yeah, but Maven is so built into every part of Endgame. It's not even just like the Conquerors that have their own part that then leads to Cyrus. Like Maven is literally intertwined to every single part of Endgame.
Yep.
So yeah,
I don't know. Like that's part of how those things change. Like a big Endgame change experience when you're talking about these annual things and then lining things up for Path of Exile 2. You're not just talking about changing the Atlas. You know, like when they had the Atlas going from the outside to the inside, and then changing the 8. What were they? Neighborhoods? What do they call them?
Yeah, I don't remember. I hated it.
Sections, right? Yep. And now it's just one big unified. Like that's not the kind of end game change that they typically do. And when you're setting up lore wise for Path of Exile 1 and 2 to be cohesive, you're not going to do the lore thing early. But I think it is.
But the lore thing could take time to tell that story. The lore
but
thing might not
you don't
be
want
just
to
like a
spoil
one
anything.
I know. So
that is tricky. Then I guess it's also easy to be vague. So I don't know. Like I really hope this is the big change. Chris had mentioned this is over a year ago. He's like,
it kind of would have to be. Sorry to interrupt you there, but it kind of would have to be. Like if this is going to be coming out December, beta comes out in June, and if we just go based off what Jonathan told us when we were at PAX, he's hoping for a 3-month beta. That's June, July, and August, which that's a weird timing to me because you can't come out with PoE 2 in September. Because it usually, I think, again, they should be rolling it out in December. We know that that's a big time for them.
I highly doubt it would be anything except for December.
So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But the only reason I'm saying that is because this would be the last major endgame change before PoE 2.
And 1 year away makes perfect sense for that.
Yep.
So I guess on both sides of the coin, right? This would be the last Maven year per se, right? If you're having them coincide. Well, you're not going to like go back to basics where you're not defeating gods, right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to like all of a sudden just be feeding the local mutations in Path of Exile 2, and then in Path of Exile 1 be fighting in space and fighting these gods. Like I mean, I don't know the lore. I got to go through and watch videos again, but I don't see that being a cohesive experience like the guy. And my apologies to the employee that does the lore. I just forgot your name, but I don't know. So like, I don't see them changing Maven yet, because then the change can happen cohesively together next year. But they have been talking about an endgame change for a while, and the endgame change story-wise, like Maven's been around for a long time. And Chris has been quoted a few times being sarcastic and saying, we know everyone loves the Maven boss fight, you know, like referencing the puzzle and stuff like that. It's just
a puzzle. You get rid of that and it's actually a whole, I mean, maybe Maven just forgets how to count and then you don't have to.
I remember complaining when she first came out, how irritating and disappointing the story was because you're following a child throughout the process. Like it wasn't enjoyable.
It's so funny because for you and I, who we don't progress as fast as a lot of other people, we were like, this is dumb. I don't get it. And everybody else is like, well, actually, if you just keep going, you'll see what happens.
Right. So,
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I do hope that this is a change. I think that there would be a big rejuvenation in Path of Exile 1 if there was a big endgame change.
And this is the time to do it if they're doing something to somehow line up into PoE 2, because they must be planning by end of 2024 for PoE 2 to be fully released. If June is the time for the beta, his hope was 3 months, but now that I'm thinking about that doesn't make sense because I can't see them releasing PoE 2 in September. Maybe, but that would be very odd.
Yeah, I don't know. In the experience that I have in the industry, the closed beta isn't directly followed by a release. You have that time you still have like, so closed beta ends, and then you have a time period where you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. And then it's released because there's always something that comes up, right? Always something.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll depend. I guess it depends. If you're running a beta for 3 months, my assumption is going to be you're releasing fully after that period of time. That's how they did PoE 1. My assumption would be you don't run a 3-month beta and then take another 3 months to work on it and then release it. That would be a little bit odd to me, but you never know. We'll see what happens.
Things change. Chris Wilson, a while ago, long before ExileCon 2, said that he knows exactly how many leagues it is until Exile 2's release.
That is a lot of things.
But you know, so like I said, anything can change, but wonder
by
what it is.
Episode 260-ish, we'll know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play this week?
I did not. How about you?
I did.
Tell me
I
about
enjoyed it. But I also have some notes from last week as well.
You do whatever you want. You lead the way. I'm here to follow, Ty.
So remember last week when I said that we were talking about the drop penalty?
Yeah, I did see the comment as well.
Yeah, so all I needed to do was read the next 2 sentences. I pulled a kid thing. I criticized my kids for doing this. So anyway, I kept reading, and thank you for pointing this out to us. But the drop penalty only exists up until level 68.
Which is awesome. That's good to know.
And then mapping wise, it doesn't matter after that. So foolish me for not reading further, and thank you for pointing it out to us. Justin.
Yes, sir.
You know, I don't play often or have long sessions, but I still enjoy it. And Path of Exile. And I like my weapon swapping abilities to be seamless.
Mm-hmm.
When I play, it's just kind of like modifying the build to be more offensive or defensive, depending on the roles of the map that I have. I like being able to do that sometimes, but I also, because I don't play often, I like leveling gems that are universal for my builds. So, for example, I'll have like Enhance or Empower in my second weapon set, just leveling them up as I play through whatever.
Sure.
And so I'll have these weapons with low attribute requirements that I'll just toss into my stash that have, you know, like 3 empowers or 3 enhances or 3, I don't know, whatever the other one is. And, you know, and then I'll just throw them in my stash. And then when it's time for me to play whatever character I'm in the mood for, I throw those into my second weapon set and I just keep it going. But I also do that for the main skills that I use. So my zombie build has always had zombie gems leveling to level 20, and then I do the GCP recipe and get them to level 1 but 20%, and then
is your hope to then get them to like a level 21 and 20%, or like, because you
something like that, either a 21-20 or a 20-23,
right?
And so I've been doing this for a long time. I've been playing zombies for a long time, and have been with poor success valing my 2020 zombies skills and just not getting the outcome. And there's very little options, very few options that I can get with doing that. Now, on a side note, it would be awesome if you could get alternate qualities by valing. I would love them to add that. I think that would be great, because I don't like heist at all.
Well, it's a heist drop anyway. I was going to say there's the item that lets you change, but I think does it have to already be alternate quality to do it? I can't remember. But it is a heist drop.
But it is a heist specific drop. Yep. But anyway, for the first time in my life, Justin, I got a 21-20 zombie.
This is the first time you've ever gone?
Ever. Out of all these years, I finally got a 21-20 zombie skill gem.
Wow. Either you haven't done many or you're very unlucky.
I am very unlucky. I'm very unlucky. So, well,
congrats.
Good stuff. Thank you, Justin. Thank you.
Now the build will forge ahead.
So, got that. So I'm a big kid now.
Very good. Congratulations.
Yeah. And I wanted to give GGG, or the individual that designed the Guardian Blessing support that just came out, a big kudos, a big congratulations.
Run me through what that does again.
So Guardian's Blessing, well, the dummy terms without me bringing it up, is it lets a minion cast an aura for you. So
cast it and always have it, or
right. So then
temporary?
It stays on. No, it's permanent.
Okay.
And it lets the minion carry the aura for you. So it doesn't cost you specifically the mana reservation. The minion uses it, but that's fine. It does have a limit of 1 aura.
Okay.
And so anyway, but it's a very well designed skill. If so, the cost for this quote unquote free aura is that minions from the supported skill take physical damage, a percentage of their physical damage of their maximum life and energy shield. Sorry. So hang on. Let me rephrase that. Minions from the supported skill take a percentage of their total maximum life and energy shield as physical damage per second. So it's basically like righteous. It's like righteous fire in the degradation, but it's physical damage.
Yeah.
Obviously, nowhere near as much as well, but recovery rate for minions is much more difficult to find than for the character itself, your character. So only takes 8% at level 1, but it's just over 14% at level 20. So the higher the gem level goes, the more damage they take, the more recovery you have to apply to them. And the catch to that...
Is it relatively easy to get the recovery enough that they're not constantly dying?
Not really, no. Like you can get... So Meat Shield reduces the physical damage that minions take. And so that does actually... So you can have like a Golem and Meat Shield and Guardian's Blessing and the Aura. So it's a 4-link, and that'll reduce the amount of damage they take. There are a few life regen nodes for minions on the tree, and those help substantially. Obviously, there's Vitality that someone can use as well, but there's no Aura that reduces physical damage mitigation. I mean, actually, you know what? I don't know if... I don't think determination's specifically just for armor. So that isn't about physical damage over time. So yeah, that wouldn't work. But anyway, so how I keep my minion alive, despite the fact that I have lots of investment into minion survivability, is I have that minion mastery node where when a minion dies, living minions recover 5% of their life. Yeah. And so that one works out really well with skeletons because you're casting 3 or 4 just with one button hit. So it's a lot of replacements at once. But the thing that I really like is if you wanted to keep the gem level at level 1 so that your minion was only taking 8% physical damage a second, you'd actually have negative 30% to the aura effectiveness.
Oh, so okay.
Right. So it goes from negative 30 to an increase of plus 27% increase.
Oh, that's definitely...
It's huge. That's almost like 60. Like just pretend it's 30 and 30. That's a 60% difference to negative 30 to a positive 30. So that's really cool. So like for something like if you want to use Purity of Elements with that, who cares about the elemental resist? That's relatively easy to do unless you're really heavy into uniques. So you could have that as a level 1 aura. You know what? Because you're just doing the immunities and that doesn't change anything based on your gem level. I'm using it for Pride. I definitely I'm not going to waste a 4-link for Pride
get negative 30.
that gets a negative 30%. Right. So but I mean, think about Pride just at 2020. Well, I mean, just 20 because the 2020 doesn't matter. But at level 20, Pride is crazy strong. So add 30% increased aura effect to that. That's nuts. That's nuts. And that's, of course, adding all the other aura effectiveness you may already have on the tree. So
cool.
Yeah, anyway, so I just wanted to shout out, I think Guardian's Blessing came out perfect. It's such a really cool design to have like the difference between level 1 and level 20. Such good pros and cons.
Yeah.
Really well weighed out. So whoever designed that, excellent job. Excellent job.
That's cool.
Oh, and I've never looked until just now at the different quality types. So the normal quality is increasing aura effect, which is nice.
Area of effect.
No,
sorry, you're talking about Guardian's Blessing.
Guardian's Blessing.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Superior increases aura effect, which is nice. Anomalous is increasing minion regen rate. Skills regenerate 0.1% of life per second, so they'll end up getting 2%. And then Divergent is, I have to read this full thing, I won't be able to summarize this. Supported skills have 1% increased aura effect. Minions from supported skills take 0.2% of their total max life and energy shield as physical damage while you have an aura. Oh, okay, so the superior version, the normal version, you get 0.25%. All right, so that's a 5% increased aura effectiveness by the end when you're 2020.
Yeah.
Whereas the Divergent gives you 1%, not 0.25. So 1%. So when you're 2020, you get 20% increased aura effect, but it comes at the extra cost of the minion taking even more degradation
damage.
So anyway, I just want to shout that out because I thought that came out really, really well.
That's cool.
We briefly touched on this. You really couldn't hold back a little bit, but we touched on this 1 or 2 After Darks ago. Do you need a couple minutes?
No.
Okay. Jonathan was saying at ExileCon, I do forget which talk this was, but Jonathan was saying that they are combining rarity and quantity. Like they're no longer in Path of Exile 2.
There wasn't going to be 2 individual things.
Right. They're just going to be one thing. at the end of the day, increasing your quantity is just going to increase the chance of your rarity as well when it comes to rares or uniques.
Okay.
Keeps the complexity.
I don't actually remember that, but that's
keeps
good.
the complexity, but makes it simple for the user.
Sure.
I think they should do that with other aspects of the game as well. Make things a little bit easier for the user to understand without needing to have the wiki memorized. So, and I have no problem with the way that it is now, but you would have no way of knowing this without looking into the very specifics as to how damage works on the wiki. So I'm talking about,
this
for
was
example,
After Dark last week.
Yes, but so I'm talking about with damage, you have increased and more. And I like how it works now, but it's not user friendly.
Now that you know it.
And you could be very experienced in Path of Exile, know how to make builds and do this, but never actually go on the wiki to see how the damage calculation actually works. It's very easy to have generic terms like more and increased get mixed up in someone's head as, or be computed as the same thing. Like you could read minions have, 39% more damage, and in your head that's just like, okay, like more and increased, that's the same word. You know what I mean? That means the same thing. I'm just improving my damage by 39% for my minions. And so it would be nice if they, and I, again, like I kind of like having that debate in my head. I'm like, okay, if I add 100% increased damage here, but I have no more damage, or what if I already have 139%, would adding 100% increased damage or having the multiplicative version of 39% more damage, which one's better? I don't mind that math now, but I think you would by removing or just combining and always having just an increased amount of damage, no matter what it is or where it is that you're finding it, only having that one type of improvement for your damage. I think that would make life so much easier.
I think what I mentioned in After Dark is even if they dumbed it down to additive and multiplicative, most people would kind of understand that. However, that also goes for defenses, like
Agreed.
Reduced and less or whatever they use.
Decreased, less, and reduced.
Yeah, I just don't like that stuff either. Like, don't require me to have played the game forever. Granted, at this point now we can figure stuff out because we've done it so much. But yeah, I agree with you. I would love for them to simplify it down a little bit. I know it won't change because their feeling is that people will figure it out. That being said, that even if they add something, I don't know, is it in the help? I've never actually looked, but is more and increased anywhere in the help?
No.
So
not even close.
Yeah.
But
so I mean,
you even brought up a really good point last time and you're combining this now with the tooltip, but with defenses. Like right now, elemental and chaos resists, that's just purely additive, right? And then with that damage, that mitigation, that math is easy to do. You don't need to know the damage the enemy is doing, but if you have 75% elemental resists, you know you're mitigating 75% of the elemental damage coming your way. That's just easy math. You don't need to know the offense of the individual, you just need to know the percentage of your defense. Whereas when it comes to armor, you don't get that. And so it would be nice to, now it doesn't necessarily, armor doesn't need to change to be just the pure 6% physical damage reduction, which is basically like the elemental resist version. That's the additive version. But even if you had armor work in the same way, but that percentage bar, so if it said I have 75% physical damage reduction, it actually worked like the elemental version. Have that. It should be always that. Yeah, 75%. So you could still have like the crazy armor numbers. Oh, I have 20,000 armor or whatever, but that percentage that's changing on the tooltip should apply to every single hit.
Well, especially because I think armor is the only defensive layer that doesn't. Like evasion, if I've got a 75% chance to evade, that's, or whatever, that it is that. There's no like weird math happening in the background where it's like, well, based on the damage amount and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, armor's a little silly in that way.
And it shouldn't be based on the enemy level either. If you have a 90% chance to evade, it shouldn't matter if you're fighting a monster that's monster level 85 or monster level 60. 90% is 90%.
I don't know if I agree with that on the higher, if it's higher than me. Well, because my just feeling in my head would be like, well, if I'm level 50 and I'm fighting something that's level 80, even though I have maybe 86% reduced incoming damage, I'm fighting something substantially higher. In most games, it's just known that if you're fighting outside of your bracket, higher level stuff may just instantly kill you. Although it would, though, in Armor's case, if the numbers made sense, because an 86 monster would do enough damage to me that even with my 75% reduced amount, I still die because their damage is so high. But that's not really how PoE works.
No, so, but at the same time, like you're getting into that being okay with the inconsistency of that percentage again. You know what I mean? Like 90% is 90%. It's the same,
well,
like,
I wouldn't care though if it was if it was just blanketed across, where if I was fighting let's say I'm level 50 and I'm fighting something level 8, there was something visually that told me that my stats were reduced or something.
In that case, yes. But if your character level 90 or 95 and you're fighting some crazy big boss at the end of the game, like 90% is 90% to me. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree.
Now, again, like we know stuff has to change for that to be valid. But what we're talking about is when Jonathan and his team are talking about making things simple to understand, but maintaining the complexity.
Yeah.
The more that you just naturally understand in the game, the less you have to worry about explaining things. And that new user experience is a seed that you can plant that can grow into so many other aspects of the game so that people are less dependent on the wiki. You know what I mean? The min-maxers can always go, no matter where you go, no matter what game you play. It's fun to go on the wiki, but to need to go on the wiki as opposed to wanting to min-max and needing a tool to do that is very different. So anyway, just taking what Jonathan said, hoping it gets applied to many more aspects of the game that hopefully they haven't accidentally overlooked. I know, I mean, we all know what it's like to, whether it's Path of Exile or something else, we think we're explaining things well for someone who's new, and we realize we are missing so many things just based on assumptions that we've learned over time.
Agreed.
I have two more did you knows.
Let's do it.
I didn't talk about my Path of Exile week and what I did, but I did start getting back into Delve. I got tired of having that full sulfite or azurite bar. I don't know, whichever one it is that actually lets you map and do stuff.
Sulfite.
I had a full one, tired of it. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just get it down. Get it down. And so I was playing with it. And I'm looking up and I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I could get, you know, alternate gem drops from Delve. You know, they have like all these neat specific places and you can go, you can't. It's only in Heist. I
don't think there is.
Which I think is good, but I wish it wasn't because I really hate Heist. But so I was looking at other things. I want to see like, you know, how loot worked the deeper down you went, if there was a cap, that kind of thing. Came across two did you know things for Tyler.
Okay.
The crawler picks up items as you go through, and then it drops it all once the encounter is done. So that's neat. I always thought that the only items that dropped were just from that final
from
encounter,
the enemies at the end.
But I don't know. For some reason, that makes it better for me that all the enemies I'm killing are dropping loot. Oh, of course. But who cares?
You never know. Yeah.
But it does actually have a citation there that I didn't click on. But, you know, as I'm going through, I'm killing enemies, and then only at the end does it poop them all out. I would like to, for Chris and Jonathan that think the default filter is okay, I would like you to delve with the default filter and then tell me or anyone else, you know, your internal staff, that, you know what, this is the epitome of item weight right here.
When it drops in an area where you haven't yet killed all of the stuff, I have to hit Z or Z or whatever you want to call it to hide stuff because I can't fight. And I have a strict loot filter. It's freaking brutal in there.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. It is. So anyway, GGG employees, try delving with that default filter that you provide us, and then tell us that you prioritize item weight. The second delve, did you know? The beginning of this. So the beginning of this paragraph's funny because it should be the sentence should be in a different paragraph. But sulfite can also be earned in maps. Selecting Nico as an Atlas mission in the map device guarantees that Nico and a sulfite cache will appear at the map's entrance. I did not know that. If you select Nico as the Atlas mission on your Atlas device, Nico is guaranteed to be at the map's entrance. So appear, wait.
Wherever you first enter the map.
No, hang on. No. Abort plan. I totally misread that.
Hold on, I just want to, real quick before you finish this. Now user error doesn't just apply to me for the title of this episode. Go ahead.
Well, we came full circle. No, okay, yeah. So no, oh man, hang on.
What's the thing?
No, shut up. So okay,
no, it just
no.
I just read it. Yeah, go ahead.
So it said selecting a Nico Atlas mission at the map device will guarantee that Nico and sulfite caches appear in that map's. I read entrance, but the word is instance. So there's only one. Did you know? Yes, it is. So okay, let me read this correctly so that I can correct myself before the world corrects me. Selecting a Nico Atlas mission at the map device will guarantee that Nico and sulfite caches appear in that map's instance.
And hopefully that was not a did you know?
Right, duh. And now let me keep reading just in case someone's like, oh, if you kept reading. Nico Atlas mission.
I don't think anything else is that beneficial.
Oh, but I didn't know this. A map's instance's sulfite total is increased by the map's item quantity bonus.
Yeah, as well as the higher the level of the map you're doing.
Okay, 2 did you knows? But that one was totally by accident.
That's awesome.
Well, we thought this was going to be a short episode, and it wasn't.
Yep. But we're going to wrap this up. Everybody, will see you in the private league this week. Hopefully you have fun and die lots. If you're wanting to join, you can find it on our Discord. This is episode 210, Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Patrons will see you in After Dark. Everybody else will catch you next week with BK in 211. If you're looking for more information, you can find it down below. We got a website, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a very fun Discord. You should join it. Come say hi. And Patreon's other ways to support the podcast. You'll find them down below as well as on our website.
Bye.
Nice.
Yeah, they're the best.